Okay. Hey guys, I hope you're doing well. I am here today to tell you specifically about um, like the specific season that we are in. It feels like a little contrasting. What I keep meaning by this is that it's the lightest word I could find. It's the case that there are there's this saying that I keep bringing up. It's probably because I took it from other YouTubers and whatever, but the saying goes like it time in the market beats timing the market. And what I mean by this is that um, the longest market that you've been in really determines your ties and strength and whatnot. And just without beating around the bush, I'll get straight to the point. Um, I've been in the crypto space for about like 8+ years now, going for 9 years. I've seen the space go through multiple booms and busts, and these booms and busts were primarily driven by multiple narratives, even declaring the whole ecosystem dead multiple times and whatnot. And most recently, probably if you have crypto on your watch list or something, you probably would have noticed that this market is like suddenly like Bitcoin is down roughly 50+% from its most recent top. Altcoins are just down till I think last I checked Solana was like 70% down. But if you truly focus on the pricing, of course, this can be absolutely crazy because when you think of it, it doesn't feel natural, especially if you're coming from stonks, then this might not feel natural. Um, but there's a whole generation like me who was crypto native and grew up outside the fiat system. And you might not notice those kinds of people. And I'm one of those people who is very crypto native, and I feel really comfortable in the wild west of these whole booms and busts. And through all like this journey, I I definitely picked up a sense of these cycles, and I truly and heavily feel that we're in that part of the cycle where um, the next few months really determine the next few years, and it's one of those moments where you get these asymmetric opportunities, and though like asymmetric opportunity is a big word, it truly just means that you have the best shot at getting outstanding gains compared to just average gains on the usual basis. And one thing I would recommend, let's say, because I've been in that position, probably I'm making video for those people that have been in that position probably 8 to 9 years ago, is that the money will come eventually. Staying liquid, having as much cash as you can, and cash is king during this deflationary times where you have to somehow have as much liquidity in your base so that you can buy when everything is on sale. And this feels obvious, but when you're going through the cycles, it just takes you in a whole journey of when there are moments where you might not have cash when there are these kinds of buy the dip opportunities. Um, in essence, all in all, what I'm trying to say, friends, is that buy the dip with all what you have, with all resources that you have, buy the dip and tell your friends. That's there. I'll also attach one other video that is so funny because it's like buy the dip and tell your friends, and I have to do that now because it um, it feels uh, like if so there is something called fractals in trading, or in the trading space. Fractals are basically these repeating patterns, and humans tend to repeat certain patterns, or humans generally live in a cycle. Though we want to feel special, we eventually, when you add up or get the sum total of our activity, we get these cyclical patterns, and these cyclical patterns could span days, or years. And what you see the patterns in days also appear in years, and that's what we call fractals, right? When you zoom in, you see the same behavior, or trace of activity, versus you also see the same trace of activity on a larger time scale, and hence when you zoom out. So it's this repetitive cycle that gives you this tingle or sensation that is like, oh, we're at that moment. And going back to my initial statement, saying time in the market beats timing the market, truly because of this one simple fact about markets. Markets have a huge repetitive cycles, um, and and I think this is the moment also to be a little contrarian. I feel like there's still more way to go, um, but to truly have that asymmetric opportunity, you can bet on whatever you bet on the past, because it's certainly likely that the tide is going to lift that boat. On the other hand, you also have the opportunity to explore as much as you can, because think of it this way: you have multiple floodgates being opened, and you have the opportunity to plant as much seed on each floodgate's exit, or opening, actually. And once the floodgate is opened, that's when you get catapulted, and or if you have planted multiple seeds, that could possibly also result in seismic gains. So there's that investment strategy of you putting all eggs in one basket versus you essentially going all in versus you diversifying. And it really depends on your interest. And one prominent learning that I have gathered throughout the years is that you only diversify if you don't know or if you don't understand, as an investor. But if you know what you're investing in, if you know the fundamentals of what you're investing in, then and you have like a certain level of belief that that has a huge potential for growth, then that is your ultimate opportunity. So that's like betting on yourself. And that's what I'm coming today for. I'm not going to tell you the average advice, which is diversify. And of course, this is not a financial advice. And for that, you can go to your advisors or institution, but I'm not a financial advisor. This is not any financial advice. And I think this is an opportunity for you just to learn and educate yourself. So and this is solely for educational purposes only. So it's not really much of a business inquisition or expression. And I would want to double down on the betting on yourself aspect, because I truly didn't understand that aspect until I was in the same position. And this is just to tell you that bet on yourself. And and I don't want to go through the self ideals, but what I'm trying to say is that bet on yourself. And what this means is that if you had a huge watch list or wish list of assets that you wanted to acquire, then acquire them. And this is also the opportunity for you to, as I said earlier, to have that asymmetric advantage over the ordinary or over the usual outcomes. So this is your moment to actually seize that opportunity And I know you're sitting on a wad of cash, and I think you can be able to deploy these funds for those opportunities. So I know I'm being vague, but all in all, I've been in crypto for a long amount of time. I'll always be in crypto, um, saying 10 years in the future, or 100 years in the future. And I've always grew up in the system that I never feel isolated or I never feel the fact that I don't the intangibleness is not felt to me. So I truly believe that the ecosystem just has had different narratives, and it feels like in one of those movie scenes where you go to an alien world, and in that world you are encountered with multiple currencies or tokens, and that's peak civilization when you think of it, and that's where we are right now, and that's just awesome. You have the opportunity to express different narratives in different tokens, and each has different founder story when you think of it. Anyways, what I'm trying to wrap up with in this video is that it's generally normal in this part of the cycle to get 70 to 80%, no, actually 80 to 90% drawdowns for altcoins, and also for Bitcoin, roughly 50 to 60%. I think in the past was 40 to 60%. So it's kind of normal that we get that. And it's this part of the cycle where true accumulation happens, and then suddenly it goes just out of hands. So I'm just letting you know of that opportunity, and I'm happy trading. And if you get as much capital from this, then also ping me. I'll love to know. Because if you took this as somewhat of a signal to direct your goals or move further towards your goals, that's just phenomenal. So I think this is what I wanted to record in this video, and I truly hope you're doing well. And see you soon. I'll definitely come out with more videos. If you want to learn more about finance and the engineering side of it, I've come to know that you really wanted to learn a lot about the trading sphere now. Now that you have seen the results of what it can do, what it can actually help you achieve. So I would be happy to kind of walk you through as I have done in the past. Because again, time in the market beats timing the market. And see you soon. And subscribe, follow, and do a whole lot of those things to stay tuned. So see you there.